Hello, everyone. Jorge here with Cloud Native and Nexus Technologies. Happy Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. And today I want to introduce you to Docker. So, what I'm talking to you about Docker, GitLab, Git, Jenkins, Kubernetes, all these tools are basically the new uh, the new cloud native technologies, the new software development lifecycle, the new basically all the tools that most people are using out there to do work to develop anything you can think of. So I'm going to be showcasing all these tools, all this software, all these applications, all these tools that you use to improve your work every day. So whether it's to scale, to make it more redundant for failovers and anything else, this is what you use. You use containers these days instead of virtual machines, all depending of the use cases, right? But containers are basically changing everything we do. You bootstrap a container with one application. It could be a WordPress site, or maybe you want to spin 20 web servers. Well, you can install WordPress in these 20 servers, these 20 containers, right? You call it server, but there's two containers. And then it happens like that, just easily. And if one fails, the other one takes over, right? And you cluster all these servers if you want to with Kubernetes. Maybe you push new code with GitLab and you scan the code too and you make it secure and much more. So Docker is something that you must know, something that you need to understand how Docker works. You need to know how to install it. You need to understand how to create new containers, how to bootstrap the containers, how to submit it to the Docker repository site, Docker Hub, and all that. So let's take a look to the main components. So it says in here that the Docker have an engine, right? You can have Dockerfile, so it will have all the settings that you want to have, all the commands. It usually comes in a YAML file for the Docker Compose. And Docker Hub is basically the cloud-based repository where everyone goes, like here, Docker Hub. And there you go. So my intention for me right now is so in here, let's say if I want to look for Ubuntu, it's gonna find some containers that host Ubuntu or anything you can think of. You can type here, let's say hacking. Let's type hacking and see what shows up. Skywalking. I'm pretty sure you can find a lot of different stuff here. Bio containers, interesting. Anyways, I gotta check some new repositories in this website and see what tools I can use for my work. So my goal today is to install Docker with you, what I have you here. And there is a few ways to install Docker containers, okay? Why Docker? Because it's fast, because it's reliable, because it's not super easy to implement all this, but you know what, when it comes to scale applications, to make it more secure, to make it harder for hackers and all that, is just awesome. It's great. It's new. If you're not jumping away from Windows for a little bit and you're not getting into open source, you need to step up in your career, and that's what we're here for. Lake Cloud Canada, Cloud Underground, and this channel, which is totally free for whoever wants to engage with me and work with me and have an interview with me and just like build things. So I'm forming a community of blockchain developers and smart contracts. And we're going to use this sandbox from Cloud Underground to basically automate everything that a smart contract person does or the blockchain person does. And making it secure, building codes securely, automating things. And you don't have to be jumping from one version to another. We can customize and create Docker containers for that specific environment that works for whatever application. Let's say if you have Java version this or Node.js version this, and you don't want to be playing with, oh, I gotta downgrade, I gotta upgrade this. We just get that machine ready for you. And the most importantly too is that when you work with us, we give you a Chrome remote desktop application. Basically, like you got access to our system. You don't have to install anything. You just use your web browser. So in here, it says install Docker engine on Ubuntu. Okay, there's a few steps in here. It supports many different versions and all that. But there is one way that I would love to use, and it's this one, the convenient script. So the convenient script, you're supposed to copy this, or you copy all this, and then I'm gonna just copy that on the server and see what happened. I'm gonna say enter. Okay, it's asking for a password. So it looks like it's going to be doing its own thing. Let's give it some time. Okay, so let's see what happened in there, because I think that I tried to install it before, but I can't remember. So it looks like it's already installed. If you already have Docker installed, this script can cause trouble, which is why we're displaying this warning and provide the opportunity to cancel the installation. If you install the current Docker package using the script and are using it again to update Docker, you can safely ignore this message. Okay, so I do not see that it gives me any error or anything like that. It's just telling me where the folders are and all that. So basically no errors. And how do we install Docker? Using the convenient, let's go here, the convenience script. And then how do we test? How do we test if it's working or not? So install pre-releases, uninstall Docker, post-installation. Okay, let's go here. After you install that, manage Docker as a non-root user. That's another step you gotta do. So I gotta add my own username, but I want to know if Docker is running or not. Well, let's do this. So we can go just online and say, how can you check if Docker is running on Ubuntu, right? So this is what happened. Like, it's impossible for me or for you or everybody to always remember all these commands, right? So it's the job that we do is research every day. And when you're working with many technologies, it's like it's something that you're gonna forget for sure, unless you do it every day for the same job. But since me and you, we do a lot of things: cyber, blockchain, smart contracts, full technology, AI, right? So it's quite interesting. So let's run this command, docker ps. So if we say docker ps, I got permission denied. Why? Because I need to be a sudo user. Oh, so it says in here, it's just trying to display something. So I think it is running. It is running. So let's check the engine here, system, and I want to know the status. There's a full command here. And it will check the services. If I run this, there you go. So it says in here, the system service will not be found. All right, but most of the stuff is running. So let's follow the steps for post installation. So manage Docker as a non-root user. Okay. So basically, we want to add the default is sudo of the root user. That's why we're trying to. It was asking me for the password. So what about if we create a group, right? Create a new group, and we just follow all these steps. Let me just cancel this, and then we're going to do this. Group app Docker. So it looks like it already exists. So now, what we could do, we're going to use this one where we can add a specific user. Okay, so sudo user modification Docker and the username. So I'm gonna try to add my own user. Okay. And then in the end, we're gonna say here, Jorge, it's my user. There you go, no problem. Now you can also run the following command to activate the changes to the groups. All right, let's activate that. Excellent. I guess I don't have to make documentation because everything is here. It's easy and straightforward. I'm not having any trouble so far. So I'm gonna copy now to run the hello world, right? So it looks like it may be running my first Docker, which is called hello world. All right, let's do that and see what happened. Unable to find. This is pulling the Docker repository for hello world from out there. So let's see, hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. That's great, awesome. What else I'm supposed to do here? It tells me it downloads a test image. That's great. I didn't have any these errors, right? No problems like that. Then if you have a problem, you have to run something like this. You know what? It's not a bad idea if I just need to change user here twice, right? But I don't have any problems, so maybe I'm just gonna leave it like that. Because so far, I did not see anything related to permissions or nothing. It had been a while since I installed a Docker. Actually, I never done it on a convenience way, the script. It looks so easy. Now I want to start Docker automatically every time that this machine boots up my Ubuntu desktop. I want this Ubuntu to always spin Docker right away. Why? Because something happened to my server, my cluster will take over. But if the cluster is down too and the primary comes back, well, I want my applications to be running. So what else do we need to do to stop this behavior? Use disable instead. I don't want to do that. I think that I'm all good. And then this is something else about logging and driver. We'll get there. The truth is, how can I actually deploy a simple container? So why don't we go to the cloud I would love to install Portainer. So I'm going to install Portainer in here. Portainer is a tool that will let you manage containers from Docker. So I want to know how to install because you can have a graphical user interface, and then it will give us a chance to it give us a chance to also see what containers are running. So I'm gonna say here Docker PS. Remember we run that command. It says nothing is running in there. What other command did we run before? Okay, so let's try to install Docker run Portainer. So let's go. Portainer is also a container itself. So let's go to Portainer, get started. And I'm wondering if there is an installation here. Nothing here that easy. I don't want to register. Maybe I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT. How can I install Portainer? All right, so it looks like there is necessary packages in here you need to have, some basics. And I'm going to install that without updating anything. It's not a bad idea to try to update too, right? So let's try to update. That way we refresh Linux command while you're learning Docker. Okay, so I'm copying in there. Okay, everything's up to date. Now I'm gonna install some prerequisites. You can automate all this too. So this is all automated in our sandbox from Cloud Underground. Better call the Underground Nexus sandbox, where you don't have to do basically nothing. The entire box is your IT. Now you need to basically install add Docker's officials key. Well, this is a little bit too much because I already done that before with Okay, so it looks like it's Docker. This is installing Docker. I don't want to do that anymore. I guess I can stop all these steps. Now we're here. So it says Docker volume create container data. I'm gonna do it the same way they're explaining it in here. I'm gonna call it container data. Okay. No errors. And then what's the next step? Next step is to run and pull basically the container image. Okay. And then it gives you details of how container works. I'm gonna run this. Container is being installed. And Container is a tool that will let you manage Docker containers. Why Docker containers? Because they're fast, reliable. You can do a lot with them. You can have isolate applications just to be a web server. Maybe this one's for social engineering. Maybe this one's for hacking some stuff. Maybe this one's for doing AI. Right? So it looks like it runs the container. There's a port 8000 to support container agent port. There's one for managing the container. And this is the port I think that we need, 94443. So if I copy the IP of this machine, let's do Docker PS first, okay? And I see that container is already there. But if I say IPA and I get my IP address, which in this case for this Linux machine is 210. Okay, 210. I'm gonna copy that IP. And then we're gonna copy this link. I'm gonna copy this link. And now you're going to see basically the graphical user interface of a container, or a container that is called Portainer to let you manage Docker containers. That sounds quite fun. So 99.210. Let's see how the user interface looks. I'm going to say advanced, proceed. Okay. Now, welcome to Portainer. So I'm going to change the name and set up a password for my container for Portainer to manage containers. And that's it. Look at all the stuff you could do. You can create users, roles, and much, much more. I'm going to be deploying containers, and I guess I'm going to continue on with Docker. Stay tuned. There's nothing hard in here. I haven't coded anything. All I've done is copy and paste. And now you're called a microservices person. Why? Because you understand how Dockers work. You understand how it gets installed. You understand all the components. And then you get into Kubernetes. So you can cluster containers, cluster servers, applications. And then you get into Terraform and Ansible and Puppets, right? To basically do infrastructure as a code. So you can basically make changes to all the server settings or applications too. And then you get into GitLab, where you got people pushing code and everything is being scanned, everything is being protected. And basically you have a root, a source where everyone will find the code if something happens, right? You got developers all over the place. And that's it. This is how you build your skills slowly. Here and there, a little bit here, Git, GitHub, GitLab, Kubernetes, Portainer, Docker, Jenkins, and much, much more. So I hope you're enjoying my videos. Thank you very much. Have a good night and see you until then. Bye.